Ted Seifert with Zaner Ag Hedge, our guest today. Ted, as we look at what's been going on in the grain market, it's been super dynamic. We talked about soybeans. Let's talk about corn. What's the picture setting up for with that crop?
Yeah, like you said, the soybeans have been the real story in the market since the beginning of December, and that's all based on South American weather problems. The market, for the most part, has looked at corn and said, okay, but we have a little bit of lagging demand as far as ethanol is concerned, as far as exports are concerned. We have the smallest beef cattle herd that we've had since 2015, and we're looking at that second season safrinha corn crop as being the big savior to help us out of tightness that could come from any losses in the first season Brazilian crop and whatever's happening down in Argentina and Paraguay. However, I have some very significant concerns about that second season corn crop. With input costs being as high as they are, with the La Nina forecast that the Brazilians have, which, by the way, last year cut their crop to 60 million metric tons, I think it's going to be a very difficult path to hit 86 million metric tons that the USDA is currently looking for in that second season corn crop. If that number were to fall, and if it were to fall dramatically, obviously that's going to compound the situation with the losses in the first season crop, the losses in Argentina and Paraguay, and you could have a big hole in production for the corn, which, if that were to happen, you have global end users coming to us, our exports would increase pretty significantly. We still have a longer time frame for our corn exports between basically now and June. We might actually end up having a bigger corn story than a soybean story, depending on this second season Brazilian crop, which again, I'm very concerned about. And if global end users start getting concerned about it and we start seeing these export sales come through on the daily wire, then I think the corn market might actually take the lead here and be, again, the bigger story when we're getting into planting.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Of course, we're trying to figure out exactly what's going to go on which acres and how much of each crop we're going to see, given the levels that all of them are at this time. Ted, sure appreciate you. Thank you for being here. We'll be back with more Ag Day coming up in just a minute.
For professional marketing advice specifically tailored to your needs, call Zaner Ag Hedge at 312-277-0113.